Krakatoa's history. Originally, there had been no island at all, simply an area of the sea between the islands of Java and Sumatra. But about 1 million years ago, a crack opened in the Earth's crust, and lava and other volcanic material were forced through this opening. Over hundreds of thousands of years, this material continued to pour out of the Earth's crust and began to solidify on the ocean floor. Eventually, so much of this matter collected that it formed a large island. This island was then eroded away until only a partially submerged volcanic crater remained. Forsaken Island and Lang Island were, in 1883, the remnants of this caldera. Fresh volcanic activity then began, and it continued for several thousand more years. A large new island was built up inside of the crater of the ancient volcano. This island became known as Krakatoa.
Ole battunjo de katri ballana kakatule bana ko tette set sayana mami karale sayana mami ko tasamperi sampiranna tinato de galakari subangi oela ribange aje ne andi ko salo kammale ka ko kai ki se toku.
In 1883, Krakatoa was supporting a thriving and prosperous population. Many villages were scattered along the shores or among the fields, with hundreds of people living on the island. Their lives were peaceful and pleasant. Krakatoa lay between the Indonesian islands of Java and Sumatra. It had very fertile soil in which to grow crops easily. The climate also helped the farmers of Krakatoa. Its temperatures were warm all year, and heavy rains fell on the island during the monsoon season. These conditions were perfect for the cultivation of rice, with large fields or paddies of rice spread across the lower areas of Krakatoa. Much of this rice was exported to neighboring islands in exchange for goods that they lacked on Krakatoa. In addition to the rice paddies, there was abundant fishing. On the afternoon of August 26, 1883, a violent explosion shook the island. A vast cloud of ash and smoke shot into the sky. Further explosions rang out as night fell over Krakatoa. A visiting Englishman wrote that the people who were on the island made the scene dismal with their cries and prayers. Many climbed into boats and fled the island. At 10 o'clock in the morning of August 27th, all of the volcanic activity at Krakatoa that had occurred in the previous hours paled into insignificance as the island blew itself apart. The blast that ripped through Krakatoa Island has never since been equaled. The destructive power unleashed by the explosion is estimated to have been thousands and thousands of times as powerful as an atomic bomb. In an instant, most of Krakatoa simply ceased to exist. A large part of the island sank beneath the ocean. The eruption destroyed the island and killed everybody left on shore. That explosion and the following tsunami killed nearly 37,000 people. 2/3 of the island were pulverized and thrown more than 50 miles into the air. This immense cloud of dust and rock particles blotted out the sun and spread quickly downwind, more than 150 miles away. Darkness fell as if night had fallen. At Krakatoa, a huge hole had been ripped in the Earth's crust. Where an island 2,700 feet high had stood, there appeared a crater more than 4 miles across and 980 feet deep. Seawater was thrown outward by the blast, then fell back into the crater. These movements set up a huge wave, or tsunami, which swept out from Krakatoa. More than 100 feet tall, this wave rushed ashore onto the coast of Java, Sumatra, and other nearby islands. This powerful mass of water smashed everything in its path. Whole villages were destroyed and their populations drowned. Large ships were carried far inland. One was found over a mile from the seashore. Less destructive than the tsunami, but more far-reaching, were the effects of the dust cloud thrown up by the blast. The debris had been forced so high into the air that it became caught in the airstreams of the upper atmosphere. In this way, the dust was blown around the world. The most noticeable feature of the dust in the upper atmosphere was the way that it affected sunsets. All over the world, the evening sun glowed brighter than usual. Vivid hues of red, purple, and pink were seen at sunset. Evening became a truly spectacular time of day. This was due to the fact that the tiny particles of dust were disrupting the path of the sunlight through the atmosphere. The dust also affected the moonlight. The moon looked hazy and took on a blue color. In 1927, Krakatoa became volcanically active once again. However, there was no repetition of the events of 1883. Instead, slow and steady eruptions piled up lava and ash to form a new island. This small island is known locally as Anak Krakatoa, which means son of Krakatoa. Few people visit the islands of Krakatoa and Anak Krakatoa. Scientists come to the islands occasionally to set up equipment and take readings. These will help in the understanding of volcanic activity. The last eruption of Anak Krakatoa was from March 1994 to March 1995. The 1883 eruption had a volcanic explosivity index rating of 6, making it the 5th largest recorded eruption in all of world history. As a result, no one doubts that this volcano will one day come back to life.